broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
We are live from Homestead High School as we get set for tonight's girls basketball SAC opener between the Homestead Spartans and the Bishop Dwenger Saints. I'm Brayden Carroll, joined alongside Noah Johanningsmeier as we're about 5 minutes away from tip-off of tonight's matchup. And Noah, although losses come few and far in between for Coach Parker and the Spartans, they're coming off back-to-back overtime defeats. The first coming in 2 overtimes against rival Carroll, and the second on a trip up to South Bend's Washington Panthers. Sometimes the best remedy to shake off tough losses is to get right back out and play again. And you've got to think playing tonight is what Homestead desperately needs.
Yeah, those are 2 really tough losses, one coming in double overtime against their rival Carroll. And tonight you definitely want to see them come out ready to play and play great against Dwenger, or else the struggles for Homestead might continue.
Yeah, and Patterson had a great game against rival Carroll, 32 points, season high, still wasn't enough. Even went to 2 overtimes, still tough loss. And they say all good things must come to an end. And with that loss last Friday night to Carroll that we just talked about, one of the most historic winning streaks in school history has snapped. Homestead had never lost a regular season SAC game since joining the conference in 2015. But if you go back even further to their days in the NHC conference, the Homestead girls basketball team won 66 straight games, and between December of 2012 through December of 2020, that is an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, that just shows how great Rod Parker has been as a coach for the Spartans, and seeing that continued success, definitely sad to see that streak end, but that's one for the record books.
Yeah, fantastic streak by the Spartans, and it came to an end in tragedy, double overtime loss to their rival. And when you look at Homestead, your eyes immediately go to Ayanna Patterson, as shown right there on the screen, a pure stat sheet stuffer this season, averaging a double-double in points and rebounds, and someone who seems to get better and better every game this season.
Yeah, she's played fantastic this year, showing why she is such a highly recruited player and why she is ranked number 3rd in her class.
Yeah, we talked about how she had season-high 32 points against Carroll. She had a fantastic game against South Bend, Washington as well. Not quite a double-double, but 9 rebounds and 12 points. She's a fantastic player for this Homestead team, can really get them out of some tough situations, and she's just an X-factor for the Spartans. And Noah, Homestead's 4-3 record is their worst start since the 2007-2008 season. And if they want to get back to their winning ways, it has to start tonight. The schedule doesn't get any easier with conference play kicking into high gear, along with out-of-conference games versus 4-2 Angola, which is actually tomorrow. We won't be covering that game, though. Concordia and Lures next week, a 4-1 Goshen team, not to mention games against Southside, number 5 North Central, number 5 in North A, and 4A, and defending state champions Lawrence North next month.
Yeah, they got a tough schedule coming up, and the 4-3 start is not looking good, as Coach Parker has not lost more than 4 games in the last 8 seasons. That is really in jeopardy this year, being 4-3. But those tough games you mentioned coming up soon.
Yeah, definitely in jeopardy. Teams like Concordia right there. Concordia had a fantastic start to the season, found themselves ranked in the top 15 in their class, and found themselves in top 5 for Sagarin rankings. That's going to be a tough game coming up, and of course doesn't get easier as it heads into January for the Spartans. And due to COVID-19 and contact tracing, only 3 girls' SAC matchups will also be going on as this game plays out. Noah, let's take a look at tonight's other matchups. That Carroll-Concordia game was probably going to be the game of the night, but it has been postponed as has Wayne and Snyder. Both those games will not be played tonight, at least. What do you see as the game of the night tonight in the SAC now?
Well, the 3 games tonight have Southside at Northside, which should be a blowout, and our game, Dwenger at Homestead. It shouldn't be that close if Homestead's able to play well. So my game of the night tonight in the SAC has to be Bishop Lures at Northrop. I could see Northrop, even with their slow start in the conference play, coming away with the win in that one.
Yeah, that game definitely going to be an important one. Southside at Northside, that'll definitely be important for Northside at least. They're off to an 0-10 start so far. Something you don't want to see if you're a Legends fan. That team currently in rebuild, and the rebuild isn't going so well to start off the season. They want that kind of win against Southside. Carroll Concordia would have been a huge game. Of course, we said Concordia had a fantastic start to the season. Concordia did. And Carroll, they're coming off a huge victory against Homestead. Sadly, that won't be played. Lures Northrop, that's going to be a solid game in the SAC. For Lures, Northrop, they find themselves at the bottom of the SAC. They desperately need a victory to come. Wayne Snyder, that would have been a great game. Snyder, they're currently in the top 5 in the conference. They're right at 5, at 1-1, tied with Homestead and Bishop Lures. I mean, anything can happen. Still plenty of games going on tonight. Great Friday night for girls basketball.
Insecure. Broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Here at Homestead High School Media, we're taking steps to stay safe during the COVID-19 pandemic. That includes limiting the number of workers in the TV studio and wearing masks when not on camera. We also socially distance our anchors each week at the news desk. In the studios, we limit the number of people allowed in at a time, and even our mics wear masks. Thank you for doing your part in helping fight COVID-19.
Tonight, an SAC doubleheader. It's Homestead versus Bishop Dwenger. The girls looking to get another conference win and bounce back from the previous weeks. The boys looking to start with an SAC victory and eventually reclaim the SAC title after falling short last year. Coverage brought to you by Homestead Live.
Welcome back to Spartan Arena. We're getting set for tonight's conference clash between the Bishop Dwenger Saints and the Homestead Spartans. Let's take a quick look at the standings before tip-off comes up. And right now, it's a little surprising to see Southside, Carroll, Concordia currently tied at the top of the SAC. Then you have Dwenger in 4th, and right behind them, a 3-way tie between Snyder, Homestead, Lures. And then without a win so far, Wayne, Northside, Northrop find themselves at the bottom.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Homestead can recover after that early SAC loss to Carroll in overtime, see if they can make their way towards the top. And it'll be interesting to see what Concordia can do this season with their hot start.
Yeah, Concordia has started off with a bang, 7-2 overall. And Carroll also 7-2. Those teams were going to play tonight, but of course the game was postponed. The most surprising part is kind of who's in the middle there. You have Homestead right there, who won the SAC last season, currently finding themselves in the bottom half of the SAC, 4-3 overall and 1-1 in the conference. It's a little surprising to see how the standings are going right now.
Well, it's a little early to be so shocked. It's just one loss the Spartans have taken, and that's what put them in the bottom half of the conference.
Yeah. For sure. And Bishop Dwenger, they're starting the year with a 4-game losing streak, and including losses to Snyder, who sits at 2-1 in the conference right behind Concordia. Homestead, meanwhile, they're 2 spots below. They're at 1-1 in the conference, looking to bounce back after losing their first SAC game since joining the conference. I'm Brayden Carroll, joined alongside Noah Johanningsmeier, and now we are getting set for tip-off of tonight's match. Patterson and Maggie Cheever are up for the tip-off. And getting things going now. Homestead going to start off with it. Molly Stock finds herself in the perimeter. She's a fantastic shooter for Homestead. Stevens as well, and she takes the 3. Not going to fall. And it looks like they're going to call a jump ball, and it'll go to Dwenger now. So the first possession comes up empty for the Spartans.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Homestead keeps taking those three-point shots, as they've been struggling from behind the arc this season.
Now it's Dwenger with it. Linder going to take the shot for 3. Takes a few bounces, doesn't fall. She's a great shooter for Dwenger. Couldn't get it that time, though. And tipped out by Sokol on the effort to get the ball back to the Saints, but it'll stay with the Spartans. And Homestead, they have not lost 4 or fewer games in the last 8 seasons. There are 3 losses so far. They really need to find themselves a victory tonight if they want to keep that going. Oh, and Stevens wide open for 3. Takes a few bounces, doesn't fall. Patterson with the rebound. She's able to put it right up. Patterson, that's how she scores inside the paint. A great score for this Spartan team. 21 points per game as she starts it off for Homestead. And she gets the rebound as well. She's going to drive inside and misses the layup, but Stevens got the rebound. Doesn't fall either for the Spartans. Now it's Dwenger with it. Now McCarthy passes over. Linder with it. She's a great shooter, and she passes over to Sokol. Dwenger taking their time on this possession. Finally, Linder drives inside, and she gets the layup off the glass. And now both teams on the board, tied at 2.
Linder showing her game is multi-dimensional, being able to take it in down low, even though she also is a great shooter.
Yeah, fantastic shooter, and she can really work every aspect of the game. And now it's Homestead with it. And now Dwenger with a steal, as the Saints will take it on the other end. McCarthy able to gather it for the Saints. That's Hamill inside. She's fouled. She'll head to the line to try and get Dwenger up early.
Right now, Dwenger is being the aggressor in this game. They're driving to the rim as Homestead is settling for the 3-pointers and not really knocking them down at all. Patterson really is the only reason they put any points on the board so far, and Dwenger's aggressiveness might get them a lead here.
Yeah, and they're going to call Molly Stock for that foul. It's going to be the first personal of the game. Really, Homestead has been able to control personals in recent games, and never want to see a foul early, especially from a starter. Stock open in the corner. She passes out to Sullivan. Sullivan drives inside, gets a contested shot, not going to fall, and it'll go right out of bounds. Dwenger with it now, up 4-2.
Dwenger coming out in his zone defense here, really looking to protect the paint and leave the Spartans open for 3, knowing that they struggle from outside.
Yeah, Homestead has really struggled from outside recently. That's a shot by McCarthy that didn't go for the Saints. Fast break by the Spartans. Stevens able to get a shot inside and now ties it right back up. Fast-paced offense for the Saints as they go down the court. Going to slow things down now with 5 minutes left. Plenty of time to get possession off. And
Homestead playing some stifling defense, tipping all these passes the Saints are trying to get off.
Linder with it at the perimeter. She Passes out to Hamill. It was fast-paced possession at first, but now Dwenger slowing things down, trying to find an open shot. Haven't been able to find it yet. Homestead playing close defense, but there's Sokol with the three. Swish. Dwenger right back with the lead. 7-4 now. Stevens, she's out there. Stock double team. She's a great shooter and causes Stevens to be wide open from beyond. She swishes as well and ties it right back up. Both these teams not really the best of three-point shooters, but they're getting it going early. How about this? Another three by Sokol. Doesn't fall this time, but rebounded by the Saints. Sokol with it again. She's not going to take the shot that time. Passes inside to Cheever. Doesn't fall. Dwenger with it again, and McCarthy goes up. She's fouled, and she's going to go to the line. That's the second personal for the Spartans early in this game.
Right there on that rebound that the Spartans just messed up on, it looked like Patterson and Stevens both thought the other one was going to go grab and ended up in Bishop Dwenger's hand, and they got it up and drew a foul.
Yeah, and that foul is going to be on Allison Stevens. So now that's two starters for the Spartans, Stock and Stevens, with personal fouls early in the game as well. Dwenger makes both of them, now up by 2. Oh, and Sullivan wide open. She's going to drive inside, though. Stock wide open, but double teamed quickly. They're really guarding Stock closely. They know she's one of the best three-point shooters on this team, so they're not going to give her any room. Kinsley, also a great shooter from beyond, takes a three. Doesn't land, though. Dwenger with it now.
They're playing this 2-3 zone that's always keeping two people down low next to Patterson. Even when she doesn't have the ball, they really know she's a threat and want to shut her down.
Yeah, the Dwenger defense right now, focusing on the two primary threats, Stock and Patterson. Speaking of Stock, she gets the fast break layup right there. Ties it right back up for the Spartans. It's been a high-scoring first quarter here. Both teams almost at double digits. Now Sokol with a three, doesn't fall. She's taken three-point shots so far for Dwenger. Has gotten one of them to fall. That ball will head out of bounds, and it's going to stay with the Spartans.
Yeah, both teams beginning to almost settle and just take the open threes the other one are giving them, but there's a reason they are giving them these open shots, because both teams really do struggle from behind the arc.
Yeah, Homestead, they shoot 23% from the three-point arc. And when their opponents usually shoot around 25%. That turnover is going to give it back to Dwenger. So Linder with it inside. Sloppy pass will cause a turnover. And Homestead going to have it now, substitution.
Right there, just back-to-back turnovers, which we had not really seen at all so far in this game. Not much sloppy play, but they were able to turn it around there. Or they messed up there.
Now it's Stevens with it on the other end. And Sullivan going to take a three. Doesn't fall, though. Homestead really focusing on the three-point arc. Not able to get many of those shots down so far, though. Now it's Dwenger with it. Well, Para was wide open in the corner. Couldn't find her. As Sokol drives inside, gets the layup to fall with contact from Patterson.
Yeah, nice drive there by Sokol, as that could have even been an and one, but no call. But she got the bucket still.
Puts Dwenger up by 2 now. Stock going to take a three. Not going to fall. That's another missed three-pointer by the Spartans. Stevens thought about taking another one, but... And now it's Patterson with it inside. She hits it. Patterson been the primary scorer so far for the Spartans. She gets another inside shot to fall, ties it up. Dwenger passing around. Cheever takes a shot inside, guarded closely by Patterson. Not going to allow that shot to fall. Stevens wide open from beyond. Gets it to fall. Deep three by Allison Stevens. They've been working the arc plenty so far. Now they're up 3.
You can really tell Bishop Dwenger's game is trying to stop Ayanna Patterson on defense.
Yeah, they've really been focusing on Patterson, and that's caused a lot of open space from beyond. Speaking of which, Steven took a 3 there, didn't get it to fall. And Dwenger with it now. They have been controlling the board. Of course, boxing out Patterson throughout this game, making sure she can't grab any offensive rebounds, as that's where her game is most effective. Dwenger probably going to hold for the final shot now. Try and get the lead back as they're down by 1. A field goal will give them the lead after the first quarter. A deep 3 by Hamill doesn't fall. Rebound by Linder. She took a shot, couldn't get it. And Homestead up in the first quarter by 1. 14-13. We'll be right back from Spartan Arena.
Broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Welcome back to Spartan Arena. First quarter just ended. We're preparing for the second as Homestead's up 14-13 over the Saints. And so far, Patterson, she's the main facet of this game, but she has been halted by this Dwenger Saints as they're trying to do everything they can to stop her.
Well, yeah, she still got like about 4 rebounds in that first quarter, even though almost every time you would see a ball go up for a rebound, you'd see 2 people boxing out Patterson, focusing on her. Even one offensive possession, I saw 2 people box out Patterson, and the ball end up in the hands of the Spartans outside the 3-point line. They are so focused on Patterson defensively. If she's down low, there's 2 Bishop Dwenger Saints right next to her.
Patterson, really effective for the Spartan team. Tried to get it off to where it was Molly Stock, but turnover. Pass not clean to Patterson. Turnovers come often for this Spartan team. They average 16.9 a game compared to their opponents who average 14.6. Facet of the game Homestead really looking to improve on. And they get a turnover right there. Sullivan on the fast break, drives inside, gets contact, doesn't get the shot to fall though. She'll find herself going to the line though for 2.
Nice aggression there on that fast break by Grace Sullivan, getting down low and drawing the foul and now shooting 2 free throws.
That foul is on Claire Frazier, and that is Dwenger's first personal foul of the game. So far, a clean game from the Saints when it comes to fouls, not necessarily when it comes to maintaining possession. They've had a few turnovers, a few costly turnovers, such as the turnover that led to this trip to the line. Dwenger with it. Linder takes it up for him. Passes over to Frazier, swishes the 3. Ties it up now in the second quarter. 16 all.
That was much needed for the Bishop Dwenger Saints. They've been struggling recently.
Yeah, I've been struggling. They're trying to contain Patterson. Not going to work, though. And 1 for Patterson, the star wing for the Spartans, as she'll go to the line.
Yeah, she's been playing great so far in this game, even with the Dwenger pressure. She's now up to 4 points, looking to get her 5th point of the game here at the line. And she definitely has over 5 rebounds as well. Definitely going to get a double-double in this one.
Yeah, she got 2 rebounds on that possession alone. She's had 17 career double-doubles, looking for her 18th tonight, and she's already on the path to getting one.
Maybe even on the path to get one in this first half right now.
It's a possibility. She's having a great first half for the Spartans when it comes to maintaining possession on the board and getting those putbacks to fall. Dwenger really working the perimeter so far. Not finding any space, though. Homestead guarding closely all across the court. Oh, and that's Parent finding some space for three. Couldn't get it to fall. Now Spartans with it again. That's another sloppy pass off to Patterson. Really, Homestead's been trying to force some of those passes to their star. But a good amount of them have not gone off cleanly. Luckily, that one stays with Homestead. Patterson with it inside, loses it, and now Dwenger with it on the other end. Homestead able to stop the fast break, though. Still working the perimeter, trying to find anyone open, and it's not going to work out. Sullivan catches on to the perimeter play. Fast break, Patterson with it down low. A great outlet pass by Grace Sullivan found Patterson across the court. Now extend Homestead's lead.
Yeah, those 2 points are attributed to Homestead's great D on the last possession, putting lots of pressure on Bishop Dwenger.
Speaking of great defense, Maggie Kensley just forced another Dwenger turnover.
Homestead really looking to build up on this 5-point lead they have right now. Maybe see if they can put it into double digits before halftime.
Looks like a few substitutions are going to be made by the Spartans. Maggie Kensley comes out. Just having a great start to this game, playing great on the defensive side. Forced a steal on that last possession, and she's just been playing everyone closely. Really, both teams working the perimeter. And Patterson's going to take a pull-up J from the free throw stripe, and it goes in. Homestead extending their lead further, and now double-digit points already for Patterson.
Right there is exactly what Bishop Dwenger is willing to give up to against Patterson. She doesn't have a great shot outside, but so they're willing to give that up, and then instead of giving up too easy inside the paint.
Stevens for three. Patterson with the assist. A fantastic game so far from the Spartans and from Patterson, as now it's a double-digit lead for Homestead. They've found ways to dominate so far.
Well, the ways they've found to dominate is feeding Patterson and Stevens. Just both of them already up to 11 points, so combined have 22, as Bishop Dwenger only has 16. And really, Stevens is getting all these wide open shots because of Patterson. Like right here, that wide open shot for Stevens that she made is because of the attention Patterson is drawing from the Bishop Dwenger defense. She's getting double teamed every time she touches the ball in the paint. I've seen 4 Bishop Dwenger defenders within 3 feet of her when she catches the ball in the paint. It's insane how much they want to shut her down, but she still has 11 points, showing how great she actually is.
Yeah, Patterson can take anything that Bishop Dwenger has thrown at them so far in this first half. Attention to detail for Ayanna Patterson as she's nearing another double-double. That's a three-pointer by Sokol, her second of the game, and that'll allow Dwenger to push it back to single digits. Now, although Dwenger's offense hasn't been going off to the fastest start, they're still able to get some of those perimeter shots off. So that's where they've been focusing their game. Loose ball, Homestead keeps it. Patterson inside. She gets it to fall. Up to 13 points now. Ayanna Patterson really dominating. Dwenger trying to go on the other end. Trying to get some points off and stop the bleeding.
Bishop Dwenger really was still in this game until Patterson just completely has taken over the last couple minutes.
McCarthy double teamed inside. Going to draw the foul as she'll go the line for 2. That'll be on Grace Sullivan, her first personal. 3 of the 5 starters for the Spartans. Sullivan, Stock, and Stevens now with personals. Of course, not much to worry about as nobody has hit 2 yet, but that's 3 Spartan starters who have hit personal fouls so far in the first half.
Just as long as Patterson doesn't foul out, it seems like they'd be fine this game. With an 8-point lead currently, maybe trim it down to 7 if she can make this free throw here.
Dwenger gonna make some substitutions. Got some new players in there. Trying to find new ways to stop Homestead on the defensive end as they... So far, it's been all Patterson and all Stevens. And how about that? Almost forced a turnover. They're going to call kickball violation. Dwenger almost gathered it and halted the Spartans' offense.
Only way you can stop Patterson is cheat when they're trying to pass it to her.
I wouldn't call a kickball violation a cheat. And Stevens for 3. And she's at 14 now, the highest scorer on this Spartans offense. Fantastic game from Allison Stevens, and it's only the first half. Dwenger driving inside, and they're going to call travel on Cecilia Garrett. So it'll go right back to the Spartans. They hold a double-digit lead and hasn't seemed to get any better for the Saints so far in this second quarter.
And it really seems like Bishop Dwenger is not ready for Allison Stevens to be able to shoot like she has, as they're leaving her open and playing tight against Patterson. They really need to switch it up on defense and make sure they play tight on Stevens at all times.
You can't blame them for leaving Spartans open from beyond as they shoot 22% from 3, but Stevens has been on tonight. Sullivan trying to get one, and she gets one to fall as well. A fantastic three-point shooting game from the Spartans. It seems as if they're finally getting them to fall. Foul on the shot by Patterson. Make that 4 Spartans starters with personal so far. As Dwenger goes to the line, down 13.
Yeah, right there, it's just her first foul, so not much to worry about yet with any Homestead players in foul trouble, as it seems like just about everyone has one for the Spartans so far.
They desperately need those free throws to fall. They need every point that they can get, especially when they come free.
Yeah, I don't really see Bishop Dwenger with the potential to make a huge comeback against this Spartan team. They had to stay close. I don't know if they can rally back into this one.
Yeah, it may only be the first half, but Homestead is a team that can really push and extend the lead in the second half. Patterson pull up Jay from the free throw stripe, gets it to fall. She has been working the inside like a charm. 15 points now. And that's a turnover off Dwenger, and this high-powered Homestead offense is going to get it right back.
Yeah, and Patterson with 15 points without taking a shot outside the arc, definitely working inside the perimeter and been able to just destroy the Bishop Dwenger defense.
It's been Patterson in the inside, just like that. Another shot falls for Patterson inside. It's been Patterson inside and Stevens from beyond. So they have 31 combined points out of Homestead's 38. A great start for the Spartans as they're up 16.
Yeah, and Patterson just forced Bishop Dwenger to call a timeout with her dominance right there in the paint. Just off the pick and roll and posted up and just drove her back and got that in.
So far, it's just been a great game from this Spartans offense. 38, almost at 40 before we even hit the half.
And just talk about how great Stevens and Patterson combined have played. 31 points. It's just been spectacular with Patterson inside and Stevens outside. That's a dynamic duo that is really looking good for the future of the Spartans. Maybe not this season with the 4-3 start, but Patterson inside and Stevens outside, a junior and a sophomore, a good future for the Homestead Spartans.
It's just been a great start for Homestead on both ends. Up 16. Really nothing to complain about if you're Coach Sparker. Dwenger with it now, trying to cut into the lead that Homestead has built. Sokol for 3, and it's going to fall short. Patterson with the rebound as she nears another double-double. And it'll go right back to Dwenger after a pass goes over the head of Evie Bottoms.
There was an announcer's jink right there. As you just said, Coach Parker had nothing to complain about as Patterson just throws the ball straight out of bounds.
Yeah, maybe that needs to be addressed a little bit. And Sokol cannot drive inside. Homestead playing incredible defense so far. Nothing has been working inside for Dwenger. They've been forced to play from the perimeter all game long.
You just can't deal with Patterson inside, whether it's offense or defense. She's just so dominant.
Yeah, left Cheever open a little bit there, and she took advantage. Patterson's been playing close defense with Maggie Cheever all night long, but she found a little bit of space there and able to put up some points for Dwenger.
Yeah, and she got the shooter's roll as it hit the rim a couple times and went in.
Patterson tried to get points on the other end to make up for points allowed by Dwenger, and fouled as she'll go to the stripe.
Just right there is an example of how dominant Patterson is. As she caught that ball, 3 Bishop Dwenger Saints were just right around her, ready to stop her, and she still was able to get the shot up and almost was able to put it in for an and one.
And a substitution going to be made by Dwenger. Victoria Parris going to come in for Sokol. Sokol been the primary scorer so far for the Saints, especially from beyond. Patterson makes both free throws.
Now up to 19 for Patterson, chasing her average in this first half, which is 21. This is a great game for Patterson, showing how good she actually is.
And one there by McCarthy, able to cut into this Homestead lead. And she'll go to the line for an and one. But Patterson, her season high so far, 32 against Carroll, and she is more than halfway there before we even reach the half.
Yeah, and in that Carroll game, it took 2 overtimes for her to get those 32 points. And right now, almost at halftime, she has 19. This is a great game from Patterson. Bishop Dwenger, even with the 3 girls surrounding her at all times, just can't stop her.
Homestead now with it. Stevens open from beyond, couldn't corral the ball though off the pass. Was open but couldn't get the ball together, and it'll be a turnover off of Kensley going back to the Saints. They desperately need some points before the half, under a minute left. Down 13. Driving inside, Patterson right there though. Patterson has been clogging up the inside so far. And that's a 3 that falls by Hamill. And now, 10-point lead for the Spartans. Dwenger slowly cutting into it on a little bit of a run right now.
Let's see if the lead will grow or shrink in these last 20 seconds.
Patterson, double team, still takes the J at the top of the stripe. Doesn't fall, though.
Interesting shot choice there by Patterson.
And a 3 on the other end by McCarthy doesn't fall. Over a shot off the glass by Parent. A little too strong. Fast break by Homestead. Stevens, second highest scorer tonight, gets it off before the half ends. A fantastic start for the Spartans. They're up 42-30 over the Saints.
Right there, she just made up for the bad shot selection right before, grabbed the rebound and made a nice pass.
And we're going to go over to Ashton Ackman, who's with Coach Parker after a fantastic first half from the Spartans. Ashton?
All right, thank you, Brayden. Coach, you're coming into this game off your first SAC loss since joining the conference in 2015. Off a bit of a slow start there in the first quarter, you're seeming to find your stride there in the second quarter. How do you assess your Spartans here in the first half?
Well, I think, as you mentioned, offensively we got better as the game went on, and that was positive. We got to come out in the second half and continue to score the basketball and get quality shots and knock them in. A little disappointed with some defensive breakdowns, I thought, there in the first half that we need to be better at. So that's going to be a big emphasis here when we go into the halftime, that we got to come out, we got to do a better job of getting stops on the defensive end.
All right, thank you, Coach. Brayden?
Thank you, Ashton. Of course, Coach Parker got to be happy with that fantastic start to the game. They're up 12, double-digit lead already over the Saints.
Yeah, and Patterson all the way up to 19, and Sullivan with 16. Great start. in the first half.
And we're going to go to a quick break, but stay tuned. We're at halftime of today's game. Homestead 42, Saints 30.
You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Here at Spartan Arena, fantastic start to the game. It's Homestead up 42-30 over the Saints. And Noah, just a great start so far. It's been dominated by Ayanna Patterson and Allison Stevens, who have combined for 35 of Homestead's 42 points thus far.
Yeah, and they were able to knock down some three-point shots, which hasn't really been that common so far in their 4-3 start, which knocking down three-point shots can win you some games, and that's why they're up by 12, along with Patterson's just complete dominance down low, 19 in the first half. That's very rare. I mean,
really needed, as they're coming off back-to-back losses to Carroll and South Bend, Washington. And now against Dwenger in their second game, or their third game, of SAC conference play. Looks like they might find themselves back on the winning side in the conference standings. Currently, they're tied for 5th in the conference, and they're hoping to go right back up to the top 5 after this.
yeah, Homestead definitely wants to turn this around and be able to look forward to the season, and like a slip up here against Bishop Dwenger would not be good for the further hopes at an SAC title, especially after that 2 overtime loss to their rival Carroll. You just can't really suffer any losses when you're supposed to win a game like they are tonight against Dwenger.
Yeah, this game so far by Dwenger, the offensive side has not been able to get it going so far. They've been able to get a few three-pointers off here and there, especially from Mackenzie Sokol, who's hit 2 so far. But other than that, nothing has worked out for the Saints. They can't stop Patterson. They can't stop Stevens on the defensive side. And on offense, they cannot find any open space inside and have to work by just passing around for what seems like half a minute every possession to find an open player.
Yeah, really, Bishop Dwenger was in this game when Patterson was kind of shocked by how aggressively they were defending her with multiple people around her at all times. And then once she finally was able to get that out of her way and start scoring and getting open shots for Allison Stevens and one for Grace Sullivan even, once that started happening, Bishop Dwenger just fell apart, wasn't able to match the pace Homestead was scoring at, especially with Patterson just dominating down low. It doesn't matter how many people guard her right now, she is going to score.
Both Allison Stevens and Ayanna Patterson, really the definition of this offense so far for Homestead that has been stagnant for a while so far this season. In their first 7 games, they found themselves shooting 35% overall and 23% from beyond. That's a stat you never want to see as a head coach, but they have gotten it together so far. They're shooting fantastically, and they're finding a lot of open space on the offensive end.
Yeah, I think that 23% from behind the arc really is attributed to losing Riley Parker, and now just trying to find who can knock down shots like she did last year and who can match what she produced for Homestead. And right now in this game, it looks like Allison Stevens could be one to do that.
Allison Stevens, she's having a great game so far, season high 16 points. And we've only hit one half so far. She's certainly going to find more playing time in the second half. She can maybe find herself hitting the 20-point barrier barrier she's only hit a couple times in her career.
Yeah, and again with Patterson, just 32, her being her season high, and which was in a double overtime game against Carroll. And now this year, she's all the way up to 19, or in this game, in just a half, she's all the way up to 19.
So far, Stevens has dominated in this stretch. Really, the entire offense getting it going for Homestead. Meanwhile, the Saints have not been able to find anything on both sides of the court. And we're going to go to a break, but stay tuned for the second half of today's matchup between Homestead Dwenger. Homestead 42, Dwenger 30. We'll be right back.
Rethink your limits.
Welcome back to Spartan Arena as we're at halftime of tonight's matchup between the Homestead Spartans and the Bishop Dwenger Saints in this SAC matchup. And so far it's been dominated by the Spartans, up 42 points in one half. And the Saints stuck at 30 so far. And a quick scoring update for the Spartans is Grace Sullivan is at 5 points, Molly Stock with 2, and then rounding things out for the Spartans, Allison Stevens with 16, and Ayana Patterson at 19. Just a fantastic game so far from this Spartan offense as they've been getting things going in a way that they've been looking for all season long.
Yeah, they finally were able to find someone who can knock down consistently from outside the arc. And Patterson, just even with being triple teamed every other play, really, she was able to dominate down low and find some open players like Stevens from beyond the arc. We might even see her finish with a triple-double. I mean, we don't have her rebound stats, but she might have had a double-double in that first half.
She's coming very close to a new high in points and rebounds combined for the season. She's found a way to completely control both sides of the court for the Spartans. And a quick scoring update from other games in the SAC. This one's a little surprising, but Wayne is only down 1 against the Panthers, 32-31. That'd be a huge upset for the Generals. It's something that I'm definitely shocked about. A huge surprise for Wayne. We're getting ready for the second half of tonight's matchup. The Saints really want to see things going. Noah, what are your keys to this second half for Bishop Dwenger as they try to narrow the Homestead margin?
Well, clearly they know that a key in the first half was trying to stop Patterson, which failed. So now you gotta continue that intensity guarding Patterson. Hope that it works in this half, but also make sure you go out on the arc and actually guard Stevens, unlike they did in the first half. They really did not really contest her and just left her open, and she made them suffer for that, scoring 16 in that first half.
Allison Stevens, definitely a player on the offensive side Dwenger wants to watch out for this time around as they start off with it. And looks like ball went out of bounds, and Dwenger's going to keep possession. As they're looking for some opening possession points, trying to narrow it to 10 or single digits. Sokol with a mid-range shooter and got it to fall. 10-point lead now for the Spartans. Points definitely something the Saints want to get more of in the second half. Patterson with it inside. Gets the layup with contact. Pushes the lead right back to 12. Patterson up to 21 now. 11 points until she ties her career high that she had against the Chargers last week.
Let's see if Dwenger gives it to Sokol, as she's their leading scorer, and she scored last possession with 9.
Sokol with it right now, but she's going to pass out to McCarthy. Sokol, the main shooter so far, but she passes to Linder, who takes a 3, and it's not going to fall. Patterson with another rebound for the Spartans. Sullivan outside, passes to Stevens for 3. She's had the hot hand all night long, and that's another 3-pointer for Stevens and the Spartans. She's up to 19 now. A great game from number 22.
Dwenger just can't find a way to stop Homestead, as they've been so two-dimensional on offense, being able to knock down the 3 and just dominate down low with Patterson.
Now it's Dwenger down low as Linder gets the shot inside. Narrows the lead down to 13.
Very nice post move down low by Linder there, and gets it to fall off the backboard for 2.
Homestead find themselves working the perimeter plenty, as that's where it's worked so far, but Patterson's going to drive inside. Pull up J, doesn't fall. Rebound, Patterson right back up, drives inside. Great Euro step through the defense. She's got 23 now for the Spartans. A turnover on the other end goes right back to Homestead. And Patterson travels. She got the shot, but took a few extra steps to get it. It'll go to Dwenger. The shot doesn't count for Patterson.
Yeah, both teams being able to actually get some momentum going on offense, other than those last 2 turnovers they had. They've been able to score some, with Dwenger scoring 4 and Homestead 5 so far in the quarter. Let's see what they can do now. With Dwenger now down 15, they really need something huge here to turn it around.
Yeah, if they want to make a comeback, it has got to start pretty much on this possession, because down 15, you never want to find yourself there. And that shot won't fall for Dwenger. They desperately needed that. Stevens on the fast break. Doesn't get the open layup, and Dwenger with it now. A lucky break for the Saints. Stevens, she's been hitting almost every shot in this third quarter, but she couldn't get that one for the Spartans. That would have been a huge momentum shifter.
Yeah, it's almost like Stevens got so used to shooting them 3-pointers, she can't knock down the layup.
And that is going to be a turn, and that's going to go out of bounds, and it'll go to the Spartans.
Great defense there by Patterson to force the turnover.
Stevens for 3 again. Doesn't get it to fall this time. She's had the hot hand from beyond, but not gonna fall for the Spartans on that time around. It's a jump ball. Stock fought for it with Dwenger, and it'll go to the Spartans. Well fought play there by Molly Stock on the defensive end.
Yeah, great defense by Homestead to start this quarter now. Multiple turnovers forced by the Spartans in just the past couple possessions.
Homestead still working the perimeter. Stevens drives inside, takes a shot at the top with a key, doesn't fall. Stock for 3 from beyond, gets it to fall. Molly Stock, the highest percentage 3-point shooter on this team at 29%. Gets that one to fall, and Homestead extends their lead. It's timeout called. Fantastic shot by Molly Stock.
Yeah, just you can't let if you're Dwenger, Homestead get those offensive rebounds, or else you're going to struggle and Homestead's going to dominate. If Homestead continues to get rebounds on offensive glass, Dwenger has absolutely no chance of coming back in this game. Because Homestead's been able to score on almost every single possession, because even if they miss their first, maybe even second shot, it seems like they always get the offensive rebound and put it back up with either Patterson or throw it back out to the 3-point line and get 3 points from there.
Yeah, I'm going to call it. Patterson has had a double-double. She's had 23 points. She has got to be above double-digit rebounds. A great game thus far from Ayanna Patterson for Homestead. She's one of the main reasons that we're running by such a wide margin. And Dwenger cuts into that wide margin. Drives inside and makes it a 16-point game.
Andy's made a couple of good plays on offense so far in this half. Attacking at the ball. 4 points so far in this half.
Pass off leg of Lexi Linder. Stay with the Spartans. Pretty much any time where the Saints can at least pause the Spartan offense is pretty much a victory on the defensive end. Speaking of victories, there's a turnover off of Patterson. Dwenger will get it back.
Yeah, nice defense there by Dwenger. And now let's see if they can cut into a 16-point lead. It really just seems like it's slowly been growing the lead for the Spartans the entire game. Maybe try to flip that and cut into it quickly if you're Dwenger.
3 by Lexi Linder doesn't fall for Dwenger. Fast break. Stevens for 3. Gets it to fall. She's had a fantastic game thus far. And that'll push number 22 to 22 on the night. So Homestead's up 55-36.
Yeah, great game by Stevens so far, and has been playing really great from beyond the arc. Has shot a really high percentage and been really efficient. And she did miss that one layup, but other than that, a great game overall. And Patterson as well, been playing fantastic. Maybe even looking for a triple-double in this one.
Patterson and Stevens looking for a double-double. Dwenger's looking for some points on this possession. They do not want it to extend to a 20-point lead for the Spartans, as they're down 19 currently.
Yeah, it really just seems like every time Bishop Dwenger looks like they might make a run or might start to cut the lead. Allison Stevens knocks down a 3 and their hopes just crash down.
Now it's Homestead on the other end after the turnover by the Saints. Stevens with it. She has been lights out from beyond. Tried to pass inside to Patterson. Both those two trying to connect as they're the highest scorers on the team thus far in this matchup.
Homestead now looking to increase their lead up to over 20, with it's been sitting at 19 for about a minute now.
Kensley wide open from beyond, hits it in the corner. And now a 22-point lead for the Spartans. Kinsley, also a fantastic shooter for this team from beyond, 29% beyond the arc. She extends her percentage with that shot, and she saves the ball as it almost goes out of bounds on the fast break, but will fall into the hands of Cecilia Garrett and the Saints. Substitution being made by the Spartans.
Look at that Maggie Kinsley 3 from last possession. Nice shot. 22 just seems like the magic number for the Spartans right now. 22 points for Allison Stevens, her number 22, and a 22-point lead.
And that shot mainly came from the fact that the Saints defense is focusing on Stevens from beyond, left Kinsley wide open in the corner. And there's Sokol, the highest scorer for this Dwenger team thus far, with another 3. She cuts into the Spartan lead. If they want to make a comeback, it's got to be on the shoulders of Sokol, and Stock shuts down the comeback quickly. And now it's another 22-point lead for the Spartans.
Once again, it just seems like whenever Dwenger thinks that, oh, might be able to make a run here, but Homestead responds with a three or Patterson down low.
Molly Stock with a turnover. That's a great sequence for Stock. She hits the three on one end and then forces the turnover on the other. Sullivan trapped at the top of the key, passes out to Hillary Adams. Looks like Homestead might just run the clock out. Sullivan actually drives inside, takes a shot, and got a lot of contact on it. And she'll go to the line for two to extend Homestead's lead. That'll be on Claire Frazier. That's her third personal thus far for the Saints.
Sullivan had great aggression there on that drive to the rack and drew the foul. And now, after the first missed free throw, would like to knock down the second and increase the lead all the way up to 23.
And increase the lead she does. Homestead now with its highest lead of the game, 23 above the Saints. The Saints, they might just hold for the last possession here, but Sokol wide open, got to take that opportunity. Doesn't get it to fall. Kinsley got back on defense quick, and on the offensive side, Patterson a little too deep on that deep outlet pass, and it'll be a turnover going back to the Saints for what should be the final possession of the third. Sokol gonna let it roll. He's probably gonna end up taking this shot as well. Passes over to McCarthy, and they're gonna call a travel, and the final possession will actually end up going to Homestead here with less than 2 seconds left.
Let's see what Homestead draws up with 2 seconds left.
And Sullivan's just gonna take a half-court three, just short. It was on target, but couldn't get enough arm into it. And with that, we're gonna go to a quick break, but stay tuned for the fourth quarter of Homestead Dwenger. Homestead up big thus far, 62-39.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Welcome back to Spartan Arena as we enter the fourth quarter of tonight's matchup. Homestead up big, 62-39 over the Saints of Bishop Dwenger. Saints will start off with it in the final period of tonight's matchup. And for Homestead, it's pretty much a quarter where they're going to put out some JV players, get some experience as they hold a gigantic lead over the Saints.
Yeah, and it doesn't quite seem like Patterson will reach her career high of 32 now with just 23, as her scoring slowed down a little bit as others on Homestead started to take over.
Yeah, Patterson probably not going to see the rest of this game as Homestead holds a 23-point lead. No reason to keep the starters out for the rest of the 7:28 that we'll see in this fourth quarter.
Maybe keep them out there for another 2 minutes or so. Just get rid of all the chances of any Bishop Dwenger comeback.
You think that the starters will stay out there just to pad the stats?
I don't know about that one. I think just get rid of any chance Bishop Dwenger has of coming back. Don't want to put the JV girls in and then see this lead that the starters have grown and created to fall apart.
That's certainly the strategy that Coach Barker will implement.
Interesting full court press there by Bishop Dwenger, causing some impatience and urgency in Homestead's mind, and ended up drawing a charge on Ayanna Patterson.
Yeah, certainly not the time to play aggressive if you're Homestead with 7 minutes left with over a 20-point lead. And that's Hamill for 3, doesn't get it to fall. Patterson with the rebound. And it'll go to the Spartans up 21. Dwenger, they have not lost within 20 points more than once in the last 10 years, and it looks like could be another situation with a 20-plus victory for the Spartans. And Patterson gonna push the lead off that fast break layup. A great feed from Allison Stevens. And Sokol on the other end for 3 does not fall. The shots have not fallen for the Saints thus far. There's another miss, this time from Lexi Linder. It goes out of bounds, and Homestead will have it now.
Yeah, Bishop Dwenger has gotten some good looks throughout this game from behind the arc, but haven't really been able to knock them down, and they've struggled because of that. And this is a great game for Homestead to rebound from those 2 back-to-back overtime losses they have suffered within the past week.
Grace Sullivan on the fast break, and just like that, looked like a 7 seconds or less offense there as Sullivan immediately ran to the other end to get the layup.
Well, maybe you're right. They are keeping the starters into stat pad if they're going to be running 7 seconds off every offensive possession.
Maybe they're just spending the last quarter to implement a new offense.
See maybe if a fast-paced offense would work for them.
Phoenix Suns, Steve Nash, they ran the 7-second offense, right? And that was a great fast break by Grace Sullivan there. I was able to get some points for the Spartans. I mean, it was ran perfectly from start to finish.
Being able to turn a full court press into a fast break for the Spartans. Once again doing it, and here Patterson.
I mean, that was fantastic. Sullivan really running down the court quickly on these possessions, and it's working. It seems to be getting the Saints kind of on edge as a fast break starts up and Sullivan able to make a play there. Hamill drives inside, couldn't get points for the Saints. It's been a tough second half. Stock for 3, another one for the Spartans from beyond, and you gotta call a timeout if you're Bishop Dwenger, and that's what they're gonna do. 30-point lead now for the Spartans as they just keep on extending the lead. And we're gonna go to a quick break with 5 minutes left in the fourth. Homestead up, 71-41. Welcome back to the matchup between Homestead Dwenger. Homestead up 30 over the Saints with 5 minutes left in this fourth quarter of play. It has been all Homestead thus far.
Yeah, Homestead been looking great all game long. Started off a little slow, but just turned it on in the second quarter. And their lead has been growing ever since.
Dwenger trying to cut into the lead whichever way they can late in the fourth. They're passing it around, trying to find an open shot. There's McCarthy who takes it, but can't get it to fall inside.
And now with Homestead mostly JV lineup in, going to be interesting. Let's see if Dwenger can cut into the lead at all in these last 4.5 minutes.
And Stock going to take another three. Doesn't fall, though. And there's Landrigan, the foul and one. She got the layup and the shot as she'll go to the line for the chance at 3 points. That's a great shot by Landrigan as she took the contact and got the layup to fall.
And as Molly Stock checks out, that's the last starter to go to the bench with a 32-point lead and 4 minutes left. Rod Parker feels really safe in this one.
And he's got to be happy with the play his starters gave him tonight, especially Allison Stevens and Ayanna Patterson, who really dominated in this one.
Yeah, both Patterson and Stevens getting over 20 points and being able to completely dominate.
And there's the free throw as it falls for Landrigan. Dwenger on the other end is trying to find any way possible to cut into the lead. 4 minutes left. It won't have much of an impact, but it'll definitely boost the morale of this team as the clock winds down. And Sokol's going to come out. She's the leading scorer of this team in this game with 13 points. And she'll see the bench probably for the remainder of the game.
Now Dwenger looking around and trying to see if Eek is a good, or could play good at the varsity level in future years, as she's a 6-foot freshman.
And that shot doesn't fall for the Saints. Now Homestead on the other end. Landrigan with it, coming off of a and one on the last possession. Inside. Ruggles took hard contact as she'll go the line for two. Now foul will be on Maddie Schenkel. So far, I mean, the only way that the Saints have been able to contain the Spartans has been with these fouls. It seems like putting the Spartans on the line has given the Saints a better opportunity to stop points than just letting them shoot.
Yeah, you just got to put them on the line, and it's really just become just hack-a-shack almost like in this game, as they just can't stop them outside of just trying to foul them and hope they miss at the free throw line.
Yeah, Saints playing hack-a-Spartan right now.
Yeah.
There's a turnover off of Dwenger. It's Helmkamp driving. She can't get the layup to fall, though, rebounded by Vanessa Cook. Another turnover.
And it's really looking like a JV game right now with all these sloppy plays and turnovers.
And now Homestead with it again. As they were up 34, less than 3 minutes left in this one. And that's Ruggles from the free throw line. Can't get the pull up to fall. Rebounded by Dwenger. And there's Garrett for three off the backboard and not going to go in for the Saints. Really, all of the second half seems like their game from beyond the arc has been non-existent. Haven't been able to make any shots beyond the arc. And there's a miss from beyond again by the Saints. That one was... It's just been a tough game offensively for Bishop Dwenger, especially in this second half. During the first half, they were able to keep it close for a little bit, but then suddenly the Spartan offense just became too much, and the Saints offense has not been able to pick up the pace.
Yeah, the Saints offense just could not keep or match the pace of Ayanna Patterson and Allison Stevens. They just completely dominated all around, with Patterson domination down low and Stevens being able to shoot a very high percentage from beyond the arc.
Allison Stevens and Ayanna Patterson were certainly the biggest factors in this one. for the Spartans. Less than 2 minutes in the fourth now between the Spartans and the Saints. Helmkamp for three, doesn't fall. And a turnover, Sokol, she's back into the game. She was able to get the steal for the Saints. Three by Schenkel, doesn't go. Rebounded by Ruggles. And with the minute 35, you've got to assume Homestead's going to start playing these possessions a little slower and allow this game to wrap up. It's been a great game so far from the Spartans. 75 points in this one, a fantastic way to go back to their winning ways in conference play. So they'll find themselves at 2-1 after this one.
Yeah, and a great way to dominate in this one and have some confidence going into a tougher matchup against Angola tomorrow.
Angola is going to be a tough one for the Spartans, especially coming off a road game a night game the day before. That's Freem for three, and it's not going to go. Haven't been able to work the perimeter in these last few minutes of the game. There's Hillary Adams from beyond. She gets it to fall that time. And the Homestead up to 78 now. As that three by Evie Bottoms swishes in. And the inside shot doesn't fall for Eek. And now it goes to the Spartans.
I don't really think this final score will show how actually close Bishop Dwenger played this game. The fourth quarter has just been a complete collapse from Bishop Dwenger. Lead almost up to 40 for Homestead. It really has not been that dominant of a performance by Homestead, but they have played great. And I think Bishop Dwenger just really needed to turn it around early in the second half and weren't able to, and just have fallen apart since.
Yeah, with 26 seconds left, it's just been a game that the Saints are going to learn from. They had a really tough shooting night, and it impacted them in a big way. Only 41 points through the entire match. Not something you want to see if you're a Saints fan. Definitely something that Bishop Dwenger is going to be improving on throughout the week.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to see two players on the other team, as Allison Stevens and Ayanna Patterson did, combined score more than your team as a total.
They have plenty of time to work on their game, as their next game isn't until the 16th against Huntington North. Meanwhile, the Spartans, their next game is tomorrow against Angola. Very different stretches between these two teams, and Bishop Dwenger, they're going to have almost an entire week to get their offense going the way that they're used to it going during this run of the last 4 of 5 victories. And it's going to be 4 of 6 after this one as Homestead wraps up this game. The Spartans going to get the victory 78-42. A huge victory for Homestead. And we're going to send things down to Ashton Ackman, who is with Allison Stevens after a fantastic game. Ashton?
All right, thank you, Brayden. Allison, you had a hot night tonight, 22 points on the night. That's a career high. Did you know you were hot did you know you were in the zone from the start?
Yeah, I kind of felt it as the game went on, and I just get shots up before practice and all, and I couldn't have done it without my teammates. They had great passes to me, and that's just what made it even better.
Back-to-back losses in overtime. How important was this game for you guys here tonight?
Yeah, it was super important because we're not usually used to losing this much, and we had to get back from the beginning of the start, and we knew we had to win this.
Quick turnaround. Tomorrow you go up to Angola for another game. What should we expect in that one?
We're going to get the W. We got to work hard, we got to play as a team, and we got to all help each other out and communicate.
All right, I like the confidence. Congratulations tonight. Brayden.
Thank you, Ashton. A fantastic game from Allison Stevens, and you gotta love the confidence heading into Angola. And of course, she's gonna be confident after a season-high scoring performance.
Yeah, and she credited her teammates for what she was able to put up this game, and I definitely agree with that, as Ayanna Patterson was able to find her open a lot throughout this game.
And we're gonna wrap things up from here, but stay tuned go over to the live stream for the boys basketball game coming up between Homestead and Bishop Dwenger. That will not be on this link, but that will be on a different link. Your final score, Homestead wins it big time over the Saints.
Here at Homestead High School Media, we're taking steps to stay safe during the COVID-19 pandemic. That includes limiting the number of workers in the TV studio and wearing masks when not on camera. We also socially distance our anchors each week at the news desk. In the studios, we limit the number of people allowed in at a time, and even our mics wear masks. Thank you for doing your part in helping fight COVID-19.